Hello everyone, Cherie Wayman here from Fanklemade. Today I want to show you an alternative way in which to test your fabric layout in your quilting block. I shall be using an apple core template which was created in my previous video, how to create an apple core template. If you need more information on how to design quilting blocks in Silhouette Studio, go to my videos, Design Your Quilt Block Colour and Layout, and How to Create an Apple Core Template. There are others on angles and stencils as well. So let's get going. Here we have the apple core block I designed earlier. What we need to think about first is removing this outer border. So let's ungroup and draw it away. And you can see that it already has an aperture in it. And of course that's a cut line in its own right, so we don't want that. Release the compound path and just delete that square. Bring it back over to the page and center. It's better. And we can group that again. The idea of a template is to have lines crisscrossing over a block border in order to allow you in paper crafting to ink through or paint through. But for the purposes of the fabric template, I'm calling it an overlay because what we want to do is, once we've cut the paper out, is overlay that onto your fabric so that the fabric is showing through the apertures. And to try and keep everything as true as possible, what we want to do is create wider lines, cutting lines. So with your block selected, over to the line style panel, onto the thickness option here, and just drag the selector or use the arrows on the right hand side to make the lines thicker. I think that's probably thick enough. And if we go to the send panel now, let's just see what's going to cut. It looks good, but if we go in further, you will see that although we've thickened the line, the actual cut line is still through the center of that. So we have to find another way to make the line cut properly. And the simplest way for that is to go to the trace button here, select trace area, drag it across, wait for the computer to catch up, and it's selected all the cut lines, but it's also seeing some of the pattern that's inside of the apple cores. To get rid of that, we go over to the threshold and just slowly drag it to the left until we're satisfied that all the speckles have been removed and it's only the lines left. Once you're happy with that, select trace, drag the main quilt block over to the left hand side, and you're left with all these cut lines. Let's give it a bit of colour so we can see whether it is, yes, it's all fully matched up. So that will cut. We can go to the send button here and check that the lines, the cut lines, are on the outer and inner areas rather than through the center. Back to the design. What we do need to think about is joining this outer border to the inner one, because if we cut it at the moment, they won't be attached to each other. So go over to the drawing tool, select the rectangle and draw out a little line, a little rectangle like that, and copy it over to the other side. Make sure that they both overlap these lines here. Let's align them and group. In fact, no, I don't want to group yet, because if I look, wasn't sure if that was overlapping too far. Let's just nudge that over a little bit. And check this one too. That looks okay. Group it again. And copy and paste. Swivel that round until it's perpendicular. And bring that into the center of the page as well. Right, so we now have connectors set up, but they are not attached to the two borders here. So select everything and go to the weld button. If we go to the send button now and check, yes, everything is cut. Okay. I'm not too sure at the moment why I'm getting a faded area here, but it is actually going to cut when you move it up and check. So, quite simply, that's your stencil overlay, because once you put all your different fabrics behind, let me just create a few fabrics and give them colour. And send them to the back. You can see that this, as a cut-out piece of paper, if you cut out smaller pieces of fabric, you can put them into all the different areas. And start to see what will work for you in your quilt block. I hope that's been helpful to you. If you've liked this, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my other videos too. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.